this would be a close game with the passionate Wales team coming in. They've struggled a bit in the first half in some facets of the game, but obviously their open field running, and especially in the forwards, their scrummaging has been very solid. It'll be interesting to see in the second half if Canada can tighten up their scrummage. I'm sure that's what they'll be talking about during the intermission.
Gareth Rees put up a left-footed kick that time, and a collision right at the sidelines, and there's a Welsh player down.
We've often talked about how hard Scott Stewart runs. That was Dave Lougheed. He's hit Michael Rayer, and Michael Rayer doesn't know if he's in Cardiff or Markham right now, I don't think.
Keeps reaching for a telephone. And Rayer took a very hard hit and is receiving some medical attention. Here's another look.
Dave Lougheed, very big, strong winger, and Rayer goes down.
That was almost a head-to-head contact.
Just move them up slightly, please, if you can. Yeah, please.
And we are in injury time now. And so this will extend the match by some more time, and we hope Rayer is not seriously hurt. We see he's up now. Actually, I believe this is
Ian Evans.
Yeah, it's Ian Evans,
The Welsh skipper.
the captain who is led.
3-0. We've played 5 minutes exactly. It's hanging well. That's a good restart by Rob Andrew. England's forwards there in numbers. Knock on by Canada. Advantage played. Lovely floated pass by Rob Andrew. Guscott to Underwood. Tony Underwood held. Canada very quickly up. Rees acting scrum half. This is prop forward Eddie Evans. Jackett. And it's still ball for Canada. Graf. Hooker Cardinal. Runs into Brian Moore, his opposite number. But it's again good possession. Graf looks for the gap. He's very alert. Evans takes it on. Good work by Canada here, and well set up the loose ball again. Graf wide. Rees, Stewart. That's the captain, Stewart. This is Christian, the other centre. Christian Stewart up to the 22. And out again by Cardinal. Now fullback Scott Stewart. The tackling's good. But still the defence is secure. But now Norm Hadley, they waited for him. And great recycling this by Canada. They come again. Scott Stewart through now Lougheed. Lougheed's away. Lougheed looks out for fullback. Scott Stewart, a hand got in the way. But this has been impressive by Canada. And it's 6-0. 13.5 minutes played. And you look Twickenham, you can see the West Stand rising week by week. The lower tier on which we sit already open and filled to capacity like every other corner of the ground. Canada's restart. Bayfield. Bracken. Drifting infield. Good call by fullback Scott Stewart. Ian Stewart, Ron Taves. Nice linking. Lougheed across from the left and a lovely handoff. Guscott covers. Inside, a foot in touch though. Lovely counter-attack play and good decision-making by Canada's fullback, who made the opening with his bold call and then linked so well.
Yeah, lovely run here. He came off his wing there, and Underwood showed him the outside and he took it, and good enterprising play.
Paul Hull, product of Gordon Boys School in Woking. 15 metres out, England's put in. It's against the head by Canada. One for Mark Cardinal, and an attacking opportunity opens up. Lougheed. Back comes Paul Hull, an awkward bounce, and there it is. So too Tony Underwood. Rory Underwood across. The pace to get round Ian Stewart. And looks for the safety of touch, albeit on the full. But there was typical Canadian forthright tackling.
Very good indeed, and Paul Hull picked up a bit of a knock there. I've noticed that he has been stretching his ankle a bit there. It looks as though he's running a bit gingerly on it, and so good work by the Canadians there from the heel against the head. And here we see it, one against the head. Good flat line there, and certainly that Lougheed, he looks a handy player, this volley. Cleverly keeps the ball in midfield and really Paul Hull, he must be dreading every moment because he knows exactly what's going to happen. And ooh, what a tackle that was, yeah.
Emphatic, to put it mildly. It's Lougheed, who was on the wing for Canada back in '92 when they met at in first. England set up 15 metres out from the Canada line. Bracken looking for a try before half-time. Richards through the arms of Will Carling. Canada quickly through with Christian Stewart. Try and regain possession. They get it well. And Graf kicks rather loosely by Katz. It's rebounded in turn off Lougheed. Tony Underwood. And they've not given Rees any chance to use his superb kicking talents. On their day can match Rob Andrew. Perhaps not today though. This is touch. I shouldn't have spoken. Taves to Scott Stewart. Carling with the tackle. Christian Stewart. Gray the replacement. Christian Stewart again. Lougheed for the corner. Oh, that's well scored. That's a fine try and will certainly lift morale for Canada. And in a sense it shows that if you just relax even fractionally at this level of rugby, you open up the opportunities, as England did then, and Canada took that try superbly.
Good indeed, and it's a good reward for David Lougheed. He played very well indeed. Centre there, inside and out. He'd always put one on him here. He's shown a lot of turn of pace there. Beats Underwood on the outside. Well-deserved try.
So adding to the try that John Graf scored against England at Wembley of this team, Lougheed gives Canada against Romania, working out so well. And of course the additions of the replacement Cat not stopping the flow. Two-man line Canada, Norm Hadley, Graf, Rees, Eddie Evans. Graf again. Gordon. Lougheed has got away. He'll get it to the corner, I think. Lougheed is there. Well, if anyone's deserved to make his name today, it's Dave Lougheed. And 2 tries, the first time ever by a Canadian against England. And that's brave reward. And certainly they're not lying down like lambs. They're fighting to the last, and they deserve this.
Good work indeed that Ian Gordon does remarkably well. He comes down the blind side, gives it to Lougheed on the outside, and this lad takes some stopping. He's been really impressed by him, and he deserves his second try of the afternoon.
Here's the 2 stars, I guess, of the Canadian side of Beanie and Gordon, appropriately both of them here. Gordon to Lougheed, runs well, past to Glanville, but is powerful. 6'2", weighs in round about 16 stone. So 2 tries for him. Bracken, Andrew floats it into the 22. Stewart uncertain whether to risk the attack. The American football pass not quite so accurate, but it's beautifully taken by McKinnon. And the crowd disappointed. It didn't pay richer rewards than that.
I think the Canadians a little bit unlucky there that the referee deemed that there was a knock-on, but the ball seemed to go backward. But great enterprise there by Scott Stewart, and he was lucky that Lougheed was an extremely strong lad in the tackle then.
It's a move that Gareth Rees has perfected at Oxford. I've seen it once or twice in their matches.
You see it here that obviously after a contract to the quarterback in American football, I think, with that one.
Yeah, I don't think it challenged Joe Montana, though.
À la 16e minute de cette deuxième période, remise en jeu de Lougheed.
Allez, de Lougheed, tu sais, au point de chute, il y a du Canadien et il n'y a pas de Français, il n'y avait personne.
Occupation de terrain favorable au Canada. Regardez, 60% d'occupation du terrain dans cette deuxième période pour les Canadiens.
C'est étonnant que sur cette remise en jeu jouée par les Français, nous n'ayons pas eu une présence.
Svoboda, le talonneur canadien, cette remise en jeu dans le camp du Canada.
Svoboda pour Hadley, puis c'est James en deuxième temps qui a la balle. Et on s'est formé en mêlée ouverte sur lui, non pas en mêlée ouverte, en molle, puisqu'on est debout porteur du ballon. Rhys qui joue dans notre camp un coup de pied très haut.
Émile Tamac. La balle pour Akoseberi. Saint-André, le capitaine. Philippe Saint-André.
Oui, il est traqué.
Philippe Saint-André a pris le périphérique, croise avec Émile Tamac. Émile avec le soutien de Philippe Benetton puis de Laurent Benezech. Bon regroupé français, la balle va sortir pour Akoseberi. Akoseberi pour Delegue.
Oui, il a bien fait de jouer au pied. C'était un 3 contre 3 avec une avancée défensive des Canadiens.
Lougheed. Lougheed. Oh, il y a beaucoup de bleu. Il passe l'ailier canadien. Il arrive sur la ligne médiane. Balle au sol.
Il a tardé à servir ses équipiers. Heureusement pour nous.
So in addition to winning this game, Canada would have to score at least one try, and if it was tied in tries, it would then go to points. So there are a few variables, but I think Canada has enough on its plate with winning this game, and the rest will come together if the boys can pull the W out.
Moonlight over Boud Erasmus Stadium. These youngsters wait in the tunnel, trying to be a part of the opening ceremonies of this game. Something very important for the Canadian side, if and when this game does actually get underway, the wingers. Canada needs a very, very big performance from their wingers, namely David Lougheed.
That's right. You have the youngster Winston Stanley, but on the other side, you have number 11, David Lougheed. He's just been, in the last several months, coming into his own. Although Canada got waxed by England at Twickenham in December 1994, David Lougheed scored 2 tries, and he was in all of the headlines of the British papers. 2 searing tries against a very good English team. Lougheed is a great sevens player. Because of job commitments, he doesn't have as many caps as you would think. He only has 17. Today will be his 17th. But boy, he could be on a World 15 after this World Cup.
Of course, we have caps there, 14, because that's how many caps Lougheed had coming into this World Cup. And before David left for the World Cup, Brian, you made a trip to Vancouver and went one-on-one with David Lougheed.
Dave, you were fortunate enough to go to the 1991 World Cup in France, but obviously you didn't play. I don't think there's anyone else on the squad as anxious as you to get to South Africa.
I've been looking forward to it. This has kind of been a goal since the last World Cup that I wanted to make this. The tours down to New Zealand and Fiji were great, and there's been a lot in England. It's all been a big build-up. So really this has been the main goal, and I'm excited.
You mentioned the build-up to this World Cup. There have been some disappointing results. Do you think that'll have an adverse effect on the team?
I don't think so. I think that really if we flipped around the New Zealand tour and started in New Zealand and had a tough go and went and finished and beat Fiji, and we did play well there, that people might be looking at it a little bit differently. Since it was we did end on kind of a bad note, people tend to say things are wrong, but really we played Fiji, we played well, we beat them. We're going in, we're playing Romania, and if we can beat them, then we're in the same position that we were after the last World Cup. So really I don't think there's any thing to worry about. I think things are under control. We've got 10-12 days now to build up and play some good rugby.
Although the team's been inconsistent in the last 6 or 8 months, individually you've played very well. You've received a lot of notoriety as a try scorer. Even in the England loss, you scored 2 tries. Does that build your confidence as you head down to South Africa?
Well, I think so. I think after the last World Cup I got moved to the wing, and obviously it takes a little time to adjust to a new position, and so I finally in December I guess came into my own bit and had a good tour and carried that through, and played well enough I think in New Zealand, so hopefully we'll get a shot down South Africa. And obviously now you do enter the games with a bit more confidence and enthusiasm, and know what you have to do and take it on.
Is that a bit of a double-edged sword though, because the team seems to rely on you a little more for points obviously in tries and offense?
I guess so, but I think as a team we have been scoring a few more points than we have in past internationals. So really it's a shared responsibility among it. I mean, it's nice, the wings, that's who you want scoring the points. I scored 2 against England. Winston Stanley scored 2 against Argentina, I believe. Altinen's got a couple. So it's good they're being shared around, and really that's what we want out of the rugby we're playing.
I still remember you in my playing days, dare I say, as a fierce defensive player. I still think that's one of your strongest suits. Unfortunately, New Zealand, you probably had to play a little too much defense, but on the fast tracks in South Africa, as the last line of defense, you still look forward to that?
I think so. I think, throughout my career, it's always been, defense has been a major part of my game. Again, on the wing, having moved from fullback to center, you know, it really kind of transfers and you get comfortable. And New Zealand was kind of 80 minutes of defense and made it tough, but I'm sure Australia and South Africa won't be much different than that. Hopefully we'll have the ball a bit more and we can, you know, put them under pressure, but when they have the ball, I'm sure that, you know, our defense will have to hold strong.
Thanks, Dave. Good luck in South Africa.
Penalty kick. Into the middle it goes. There's a knock-on from South Africa. No advantage. That'll be Canada's ball. Let's just have a look how they stand up, the two teams, because South Africa are the heavier side, as we've mentioned. That's Reese's launch. Johnson's done well to get back quickly. That was good defensive work by Johnson, but a thumping tackle that from David Lougheed. Well, those are the sort of tactics that South Africa will be wanting to counter Canada with. Very committed man. Mark Cardinal will try and find some line-out ball for his country. There's been a dearth of it. Charon in the front. That's better ball. Good pass from Graf. And then once the Steve Gray comes through, South Africa not tackling in the midfield. Another chance for them. Eddie Evans goes through. He's their most experienced player. But here's a real chance for South Africa. That's great running by Roux. Not too many options for him, and then the little kick through. Well, I think Johan Roux will be forgiven because he didn't really have a clear pass to any of his men.
Well, he had very little other options on hand there, and certainly the Canadians in defence just getting amongst the Springboks as they take a quick throw in here deep into their own 22.
Good thinking by Canada, and then the switch from them. Well, they're not shy to try and create some opportunities under their own poles, but this is often what comes from it. Can South Africa make something of this? Yes, a real chance for them. That is a great tackle there on Joel Stransky. One fancies it was David Lougheed. Literally swamped Joel Stransky.
Well, David Lougheed as well, when we saw them play against Australia last week, proved that he's an outstanding tackler. And if I remember, he took out David Campese quite neatly as well.
Canada want a short line out, and to the back it goes. They're also mixing up their line outs. Well, they'll need to, because they've shown no strength in it in this particular match. That's Gareth Rees.
Well, Joel Stransky gets the ball and sees the line, and just look at that tackle from David Lougheed. Really outstanding, smothering the ball and the tackler at the same time.
Play. Iwabushi gets it out. Little chip through. Scott Stewart back. Knocked on the ball, but the referee seems to have allowed play to continue. Canadian forwards there. Rod Snow piles in. Quick ball by Tynan. Gareth decides to take it on, finds a hole, draws a couple of Japanese defenders to him. Tynan with the quick ball. Steve Gray. Mike Schmidt with the long pass. Lougheed hammers a Japanese defender. Oh, fantastic try by Canada.
That's one thing that David Lougheed does extremely well. When he goes into contact and he's carrying the ball, he's a very, very strong individual.
And showing it there as we see the ball come out here. Great pass by Mike Schmidt. Number 8 launches it out to Lougheed. Great pace. Boom. Runs smack into the Japanese defender. Hurdles another Japanese defender. Dives in for the try. Beautiful try in the corner.
Yeah, that's excellent work. Excellent work by David Lougheed there on that try. He does that very well. He's a very strong individual when he's carrying the ball. But they're slowly starting to wear down the Japanese team now. That power up front and the driving of all the players into the loose, it's really paying off.
And Lougheed, 6'2", 200 pounds for a winger. That's a good size with his speed and ability. And he powered right into one of the larger Japanese defenders, the winger Lopito Uti from Tonga, quite a large player himself, but just powered right through him.
He did. The Tongan, he made a mistake by essentially going high on David, and you don't do that. You got to take him low if you're going to put him out.
So fantastic try by Lougheed. A little shaken up on the play, but able to shake it off and stride back to his position. Gareth Rees will attempt to convert. Canada now leading